Hi, I'm Suki.
And I'm Claire.
Welcome to Getting Psychic, where you can listen to us use ourselves to test the theory that anyone can get psychic. Hi, Claire. Good morning.
Hi, Susan.
This is going to be the crabby episode of Getting Psychic. I can feel it.
It's fine. Even super spiritual people are crabby sometimes.
Yeah, what are those people that are like, I'm high vibrational all the time?
I think they're liars. I mean, maybe not. Maybe they are. Maybe there are people that can just be like, you know what? I'm just always going to be in a good mood. But that seems like denial to me. I don't know. I mean, like sometimes you're in a shitty mood. I don't necessarily want to fall into the hole of shitty mood, but you know, you can wake up on the wrong side of the bed. And like, I do like when I'm feeling that way to try and snap myself out of it. Like, I don't like how it feels, but
yeah, you don't want to like dwell in it.
No, but so I'll try and like think of things I have gratitude for.
Totally. Have an attitude of gratitude.
Have an attitude of gratitude. I went through a really shitty time a while ago, and I was in such a dark place. And so I started doing a gratitude journal, and I would make myself write just a list of stuff down. And sometimes it was like as tiny as like, well, the clouds were pretty today. And
yeah,
there were crumbs left in the cookie bag. And my dog is cute.
What? Like, wait, what are the cookie bag crumbs? What are you grateful so you could eat the crumbs?
Yeah. Like there was no more cookies, but there were good crumbs. You know,
gratitude.
Yeah.
I'm the boss of feelings in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always like, it's dinner time. What are you grateful for today? Let's be thankful for our food. You know, all of that stuff. But it's funny when I'm like, like sometimes the boss of feelings needs to get reminded to be grateful.
Yeah, sometimes it's a lot of work to be grateful. I do find that when I push through that like nothing feeling, that it's like, yeah, just find it. Don't be such a baby.
Yeah.
And then eventually I smile.
Yeah. Eventually that knot in your gut dissipates and you can be happy again. But yeah, like I'm definitely just, I don't know if it's innate or learned or what, but I'm definitely a look on the bright side person.
Yeah, me too.
Like all of these crazy things with work are happening and I'm like, well, it's probably saving us from more trouble down the road. Which sometimes it's just like, I don't know, seems like a stretch.
Well, also it's one of those things of like, or it's just a massive pain in the ass now. And either or, you still have to like move through it in a way that makes you not want to go insane, which isn't the easiest.
Like I'm in this situation, I'm like crabby today because one, premenstrual syndrome. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
Nope.
But I'm just like, my brain is my uterus and my uterus is my brain. So like every choice is being made by this like achy, crabby organ. Everything I eat, say, or do is like informed by this guy. Anyway, what's your deal?
Just stupid body stuff.
Worst podcast ever.
I know. My body's been annoying me.
Depressing turds coming at you.
You're like business, money, garbage. I'm like disease. Yeah. Pain. Yeah, it's just annoying.
Okay, what's going on with your body?
So I have MS, and I've had it since I was 22, and it started progressing pretty significantly a few years ago. And so I can still stand up with support and such. But sometimes my body's like, no. Or
not today.
The entire, or like my legs completely seize up and like moving them is insane. Or they start shaking really fast and they get really hot and tingly and prickly and it sucks. And so last night I was ready to go to bed at like 10:15. And
okay, you were actually ready to go to bed at 8 p.m., dare I say.
But I was
I knew you were going to stay up too late.
Totally. There was no way I was going to bed at 8. I mean, like, none. But 10:15, I was ready. I was like, this is time.
Okay.
Anyway, so I ended up, though, basically, my body started tremoring as I was transferring into my chair in the bathroom. And so I fell on the floor. And that happens. But getting back into the chair when my body's having a hard time is real hard. And so I basically spent an hour getting back in the chair. And then was like, all right, I'm ready for bed. So then I get to the bed.
Okay.
And I am transferring into the bed, and I had forgotten to lock one of the wheels, and so it slides out from under me, and I fall on the fucking floor. And then, so everything is already, I feel so weak, I'm so fucking tired, and so I'm trying to get back up, and eventually I was just like, fuck this. And I literally just like grabbed my blanket and grabbed my pillow and curled up on a ball on the floor. And I was like, I have to sleep. I'm so tired. I just need to sleep. And so I fell asleep for 2 hours. And then I woke up, and then I was able to transfer to the
oh my God. Why didn't you talk about this before? I freaked out about work stuff.
Why? Does it make you feel grateful?
You're like, what were we talking about? Gratitude
are not so bad. No, everything is. I
know
people,
Claire.
No, I mean, that's silly though, because things can't be compared. When people are like, well, the way I have it is harder. It's like, well, fuck you. This feels terrible. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, that's the way, you know, people are like, oh, you know, like, you're so whatever. And it's like, man, I do what I have to do. You know, it's like, it's a struggle. It's a dick. Wish I didn't have to. I feel very confident I should be done with this, like, karmically. So I should figure out how to get rid of it. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things of like, it's a real pain in my ass. And that's one of the reasons that it's really important to me to have gratitude, is otherwise I could just be a dark fucking horse. And,
yeah, you could.
And just live in
that dark side in place.
I sure do.
Ding!
Ding!
Okay, this seems like a good time to talk about, have we touched on this before? Like the process of, like, I feel like you've talked about this before. You're like, I know that I could meditate for an hour a day and like move the energy and rid myself of this. But then I got to do the dishes.
Right. Yeah, I think that taking care of yourself is really, really hard. I think
Yeah, it's weird.
it is, especially like for us caretakers. Like, I will do a lot to help other people. And then when it's like, cool,
Mm-hmm.
put that energy towards yourself, it's like, I was going to mail something, or I have laundry, I mean, like, whatever it is, or I'll do it for a second and then I'll be like, squirrel, something else will show up in my, I'll just be like off doing something else. I'm like, that's amazing. You just hijacked yourself. And, like, I've
Yeah.
gone into thinking about it. I'm like, do I feel like I don't deserve to be healed? Do I feel like I'm not worthy? And it's like, no, I know I deserve it. And I know I'm worthy. I just find it really challenging to both give and receive simultaneously. It's like, it's actually a weird thing. Like, when I will go in and I will start moving energy, it's really weird to be able to, I mean, like, it feels fucking weird. Like, it jolts me out of it because I'll feel it move and like feel it move. And so it'll be like, ooh, that's moving. And then it's over. It's like, oh, I can
Okay.
feel that, and then that's done. And so
I get it. Okay. New plan. Can't
okay,
you just teach me
how to heal me?
and I can do it on you? Because you're talking about this stuff and I'm like, I gotta fucking help.
Of course you do.
Gotta help.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I'll teach you how.
That sounded dismissive.
No.
Is that real? Or are you full of shit?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, like, I fully believe that you actually already could. I actually think we all could. The best way that I think,
Spoken like a true friggin' healer. All you people just think everybody's psychic and
all of the capabilities. We were all born with them.
yeah. I can't wait till the day when I'm like, yeah, anyone can do it. Astral travel.
No probs. I think that hologramming, like creating a hologram, like as in
I do that a lot.
Right. You already naturally do that, which the first time I did that,
I thought I invented that.
No, sorry. But it's a pretty, I guess it's considered a kind of advanced thing to do. So you just
cool. Tell our beautiful listener. Well, we know I'm an advanced being. Well, tell our beautiful listeners like what that is.
Okay, so hologramming is basically just a really fancy word for imagine the person in front of you. Like, you are picturing them with your mind's eye, with your third eye, in front of you, and you scan them that way. So it's like, first time I ever saw a hologram, I think, was at like the Rock and Roll McDonald's downtown Chicago. So, it's like, ooh, you can walk around it. With this, you can actually move it. But so basically, it's like, imagine, okay, first off, to work on anyone, you must have their permission. Please do not ever work on somebody without their permission. So,
oopsies.
Well, you're doing it with your family, and or you're actually doing it with people that you don't have their permission.
Well, no, I have definitely sent it's basically just like me sending positive energy to people that I work with, but I've definitely done it. Okay, next time I'll ask permission to send some people love.
I don't know if you need permission to send love. Healings are a different thing.
Yeah, I'm not like
you're
trying
not
working to
on them.
I don't even have the chakras memorized. I'm not doing like energy. Well, I think it is energy work, but I'm not doing
sending
like
love is energy work. But
yeah.
But there's a difference between sending somebody like positivity and love, because then their being gets to do whatever it wants with that energy, as opposed to what I'm gonna tell you to do is scan me and find blockages and then transform them.
Mm-hmm.
that's you actively doing something to my energetic body. Whereas if you just sent me
say more.
energy, well, you know how to send energy. I mean, like sending energy, it's literally sending energy, sending love. It's extending the feeling out of yourself and sending it through the force to, you know, and like it knows how to get there. It knows how to find them.
Yeah.
And so with hologramming, after you have permission, you picture this person in front of you, and then scanning is like basically sort of like like zooming in a little bit and just moving through their body and seeing where does it look different than everywhere else energetically.
Okay.
Like when I hologram, they immediately just turn into energy. I don't see them with their clothes who's wearing.
Oh, interesting.
Like it's just sort of an energetic body. So they're glowing a certain way, or they, and then I'll start scanning, and then you see either it looks different texture wise or color wise, or there's just like a vacancy. Like there's no shoulder. Why? It's like, well, there's a blockage there. So there's that scan. So I'm like, okay, well, there's a blockage. So you could either keep going and seeing where the blockages all are. I think another good thing to do is when you like scan is when you're scanning, also you can ask to see the primary blockage.
Okay.
So the primary blockage will be the blockage that first has to be removed before you can get to the other blockages.
Okay. Do you think anyone can do this?
Yeah, definitely.
Is it just like the kind of thing like, if you can imagine it, it's real?
I mean, yes. There's a real different feeling when somebody is on my table and I'm doing it than when I'm doing it. I mean, it's distance healing, but it really can have the exact same effects. I think the hardest part is being patient with your mind.
With yourself as a... Okay.
Of like...
Say more.
So let's say there's this blockage in the shoulder. And so then what I do, because of the energy system that I work with, source point therapy, which I know we have to talk about, is I imagine holding that blockage, or even just touching it, like touching that part of the hologram with the intention of transforming the blockage into what I call the blueprint, which is this person's energy in its highest form. So
what if someone's highest form is a turd?
It isn't.
No one ever is, just a terrible person?
You mean they were born terrible?
Yeah, just a question.
I don't know. I mean, like, I don't think so. I think that...
Like, karmically, are they just, like, shitty, terrible people?
I think we make choices. I think that there's nature and there's nurture. I think we are born perfect. Granted, I understand that there are the people that were like, he was a psycho since he was 4 or whatever. But I'm like, that's real.
Yeah, honestly, Claire,
few and far between.
I think anyone that's ever had a kid would say, like, I didn't have anything to do with this person.
Word. Yeah, exactly, though. But you're not teaching them terrible things and you're not abusing them. But your children are bizarre and perfect, and exactly who you knew their personality within a few months. Babies show you their personality real quick. And it's wild.
Yeah. I mean, frankly, some would say that you know their personality before you meet them.
Right. I mean, I haven't had that experience. Real okay with it. But I imagine totally that you know exactly, like, you're like, oh my God, I know who this creature is. And then they show up and you're like, yeah, that's you. Hi. So I believe that we all are born with the blueprint that is perfect for us. And that we are constantly working to get back to it. And that is what it's like, the health of the blueprint. That's what we're working to get back to, is the perfection of this energetic system within us that
essentially just got all muddled up from moving through life.
Yeah, I mean, the first trauma is birth.
Okay, how about this? I've been thinking about this. Like, my friend, an acupuncturist, was like, she's kind of like on her journey newly right now too. We all have always talked about like weird stuff, just intuition and dreams and, you know, dabbling. And she was like, oh my God, have you read Many Lives, Many Masters? And I was like, she was annoyed with me because I was like, well, no, but like, I'm sure like nothing's going to like shock me. Like, she like laughed at me and probably rolled her eyes real deep. And I was like, fine, I'll listen to it. So I listened to it really fast. And I mean, I was right. Nothing shocked me. But here's one thing that came up. And for those of you that haven't like read or listened to it, it's
Please
about
do.
a psychologist.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. But it's about a psychologist that was dealing with this woman that was just having all of these issues, like moving through life in a happy, healthy way. And he was using traditional forms of therapy for many months. And he made note at some point, because she couldn't remember anything from her childhood, like to consider hypnotism. And so basically on month like 10 or whatever, they started working with hypnosis, and she started accessing childhood memories, although it wasn't really like healing her like life, her symptoms that she was being treated for. She was like really struggling through life, couldn't sleep. She was afraid of death and afraid of water and afraid of everything. So then, to his surprise, one day they started accessing past lives in insane detail, right? So then he becomes a believer in this whole different thing, yada, yada, whatever. He now like coaches people through grief and or toward death, and has really used this to help a lot of people, and he's living a more fulfilled life. But she had like, 82 past lives that they talked about or whatever, but none of them were anything but human.
Yeah.
And so if you believe in past lives, and if you choose to like believe in that, what about if you believe that there are other realms of existence, and where does that factor in and why?
Well, I wonder if you were somebody that believed in other realms of existence, and then you were hypnotized to, well, a couple things, and then you were hypnotized to access those lives if you'd be able to. So there's one. Two, they were accessing lives specifically to help her heal.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe her being, like a Lemurian seed being, maybe that just wasn't a trauma. So she didn't have to go through it.
Yeah, that wasn't going to factor in.
Right.
Yeah, I would like to hear more, because, I've been introduced to all like this concept and this concept, but I would love to hear more about these concepts intertwining. And that's all I will say on the subject. If anyone has information
about past life, and we could try a thing.
Past lives and past lives as other
beings,
interdimensional beings.
All right.
If you believe in that sort of thing.
With the records, we can access past lives with the Akashic records.
Okay.
But
all for the sake of science.
tend to not. I've had people make appointments with me because they want to know about their past lives. And I disappoint the shit out of them because I won't do it unless it has to do with, unless the Akasha tells me to. Nobody needs to see their past lives.
Yeah.
Unless it's going to help you. You don't need to see it. It's traumatic, I promise. Like, you're going to see yourself really poor and die brutally. Congratulations. Yeah. Now you have that memory. You know, it's just one of those things. Like, and if it's a parlor trick, like, I definitely am not into handing out parlor tricks. So,
but wait, I mean, I'm not going to see it. You're going to see it.
No, you see it.
What?
What
are you talking about?
So basically, I lead you through a meditation. I mean, like, I lead you kind of into a little bit of a hypnosis and a meditation where we're connected into your Akasha, and you are the one telling me what's happening. I might also be seeing it, but yeah, you are the one that's experiencing it.
Ew. Okay. Can you just bring me back to my home planet?
I thought we weren't going to talk about certain things.
We're not talking about it. Just kidding.
We were talking about how to teach you how to heal me. So if we could get back to
that. Yeah. I think I can freaking do it.
I absolutely think that you can do it.
Okay.
All right.
Tell me more. So, I mean, I'm just going to, will we do it in person?
Mm-mm. You can do it just like you do all of your others. It's a meditation.
Yeah, but don't you want to do you want to like do it on the table, or would we just laugh too much?
Yeah, no, you should. No, I want you to, because that's a whole different thing. If you're doing it on the table, totally a different thing.
Well, we could try both.
Let's try both. All right.
All right. Maybe we can do the remote one first, because I know that I'll probably just laugh the whole time if we're doing it in person.
I want a fucking healing, okay?
But this is weird. When you did one for me. Okay, this whole shit happened because I was on this podcast, like about a mutual friend did a podcast. She like talks to ladies about their businesses. So I was on it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to check out some more episodes before I go on it. So I listened to your episode, and I was like, damn, that's Claire. I haven't talked to her in forever. So I listened, and I had just been thinking, like, I feel like I need some like energy work or something weird. Like, I need to pursue something because I'm feeling like clunky and I'm not sure what it is. So while I'm listening to the episode, I was actually in the YMCA working out, listening to it, but I also stopped and made an appointment with you on the spot. So I go to this appointment, and you're like, what's going on? And who knows what I said. And then I get on the table, and you start doing stuff. And it's kind of weird because it's just like, I'm receiving something, but it's also like quiet. It's not like acupuncture where it's like, okay, putting a needle in. Like, it's just like you're in a room together silently and you're doing something, but I'm just like, whatever. But then all of a sudden you like put your hands on my knee, and I really wanted to cry because I was blasted with this memory that I haven't thought about, of like a knee injury that I had, and like childhood shame and bullying surrounding it. And I was like, oh, that's so sad. Like, I was like, had to wear a freaking knee brace where you couldn't bend your knee. And I was like, would get on the bus, and these two gross sisters would like, I think they were twins. Ew. They would like make fun of me and say I didn't need it, and just like whatever, just like the shame that comes along with, I don't know, everything in childhood. But, you know, people were just mean a lot for no reason. And it suddenly put me on that bus, and I was like, why the hell am I here? And that's all. I told you about it right after when we were done, I was like, this is the weirdest thing. But what do you have to say about that?
Not much. I mean, that's the thing is like blockages, like people often will get off the tail and be like, so what'd you get? And I'm like, you're alive. Like they want to know, well, what is the story of each blockage? And I'm like, I have no idea. And I don't need to. It's not my business. And it might not be your business. The fact that you had that memory when that happened, I mean, there was something about that that needed to show up so it could dissipate or something, you know, so that it could be like something had to be worked through. And
yeah.
And the fact that I even went there and that's what happened, you know. So, I mean, you know, that will happen apparently a lot is like I'll hold a place and it's this really old memory when, you know, from an injury. And they're, you know, like removing or transforming that block then allows something else to flow. Then it becomes just this domino of like, unlock this, unlock this, unlock this. And the session usually stops when the body's like, that's all the unlocking for today.
Do you ever get like stuck on someone?
What do you mean? Like a place where I don't move?
A place, or like, are you like, am I ever going to be done with this?
Usually if I'm holding a spot for like a profoundly long time, I do a couple other things to try and reconnect, to see if like I missed something, or to see if to reconnect that spot to the body. Like sometimes it'll feel like I'm holding a blockage that's almost not a part of the body. And so then I have to kind of like draw it back into the body so that it can actually move. It's weird. But
no, that is interesting.
Yeah, it's all really bizarre and really beneficial. You should work on me. It'd be awesome.
I mean, okay, I will.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I feel like I need a place for my superpowers. It does feel so good to put energy into, I don't know how to put it, like things that aren't self-serving. Like it is healing in itself. But I think like, I'm just going to say that I'm getting this feeling that like you, I don't know, like where are you getting, like as a healer that's putting out energy constantly to help other people, like where are you getting healing energy into you?
When I do sessions on people, I connect into source, and so I receive. But I don't I haven't gotten an actual session from anyone in a profoundly long time, which sucks. I mean, I've gotten some distance sessions.
Yeah, it might be time, boss.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's a thing, like when you're sensitive energetically, like you can't just go get anyone fucking with your shit. It can really jack you up. I've been jacked. So I'm just very cautious about it.
That reminds me, we didn't talk about this, but that sound bath at your place that I went to.
Oh, yeah.
Like that was my third one in life. I felt so gross. It wasn't like I'm being damaged, I need to leave the room. It was just like, I'm done and I feel nauseous, and like maybe because I was on the floor absorbing other people's energy or like what. But it's so funny. It was like so different than the first one that I went to, where I was just like elated. And so just a little hot tip, all sound baths are not created equal.
I mean, it's one of those things like, so people come in, you know, for healing work, and like the first, you know, time or two will be like, wow. And then all of a sudden, like they can start feeling kind of a little shitty. I mean, like always good at the end, but like then stuff starts kind of like aching when it moves. When there's acupuncture involved, this is always a funny thing where it's like the first few times people will be like, yeah, I don't feel anything. And then as soon as like there's enough garbage moved, they do feel things. And then they're like, oh my God, this is terrible. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry.
Wow.
I know, it's weird. It's weird. They'll feel it like super strong. So the first time it was like this bath of awesome. And you're like, yeah, what did that do? And then the second time was like, that was fine. And then the third time was like, oh my God, that just moved fucking gross stuff. And that's how I look at it. It's like it moved gross stuff. And you're like, gross. But what is the next one going to be? Are you in town for the next one? I will
probably poop on your floor.
I can't wait.
Oh, speaking of like me as a cliche, no one said that, but I'm saying it now. Just like a middle-aged mom going to the jungle tomorrow on Friday. It's very funny. Like, I mean, whatever. I don't care. It's easy to dismiss like every topic that we are exchanging, but this is meant for the people that need it. A year ago, being like, oh, you're going to go to, first of all, a woman's retreat. That in itself, I would have been like, ew. And then you're also going to do ayahuasca. And it just seems like a very hilarious cliche, but
wait,
cliches are cliches for a reason.
You're leaving in 2 days.
Yeah, Friday.
And you're going to have your period?
I'm hoping I get it today. Are you not supposed to have your period?
No, I don't think that's true. I mean, maybe some people say that, but I have also had shamans or ayahuasqueros or whatever they're called say that doing it when you're on your period is very powerful.
Oh, great.
I don't know.
Well,
I feel like they would have told
I might be on, they didn't say anything, okay. But it's weird because who did I talk to yesterday that said that their friend got excluded from a ceremony because they were on their period? Somebody, I'm like blanking. I'm like, no, you're not keeping me out because of this beautiful natural event. But anyway, so the reality is this is happening. Also, I would love to record from Costa Rica. So keep me on your calendar, sweetheart.
You got it.
Yeah, it's all very funny. I think it'll help me. You know, this podcast is called Getting Psychic. So I'm here to like see what my brain can do, right?
Do you know what you want to ask? Do you know what you want to ask? Are you like, what is your intention? I
mean, I'm always a kind of like, tell me what I need to know kind of guy, unless I have some burning business question, which is my other area of interest.
You're going to go to a goddess and ask about business?
Yeah. No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to just be like, what do I need to know? Like, what will help me heal? But also, it would be cool for this to like advance my intuition and psychic abilities.
Oh, I feel like do not.
It might help me.
That'll happen.
Kids, don't try this at home. Leave this to me.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'll report back. But I do kind of feel like if I can, I have that barrier where like I'm super intuitive and I'm a great visualizer. But the whole letting go and letting things happen.
Well, here's the cool thing.
I don't have that.
Here's a great thing about ayahuasca. It's going to show you exactly what it needs to. You will be shown what you need to be shown. And it's going to be perfect. And
what about when people like do it and just like nothing happens?
Yeah, that's because they aren't ready for anything that. Yeah, I know people that have happened to, and I'm like, fascinating. You're one of those. That's like just not open to those pieces.
Interesting.
I know, it is. It is really interesting.
Okay, so it's like, it's a hallucinogenic, right?
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing. When you open your eyes, everything's normal. Like you're not hallucinating.
Right. So it's not like you're on acid.
You only hallucinate when you close your eyes. And then you can't even call it hallucinating. I mean, like, I feel like you immediately journey somewhere. It's crazy.
Okay. How could that be? I know, people say that like ayahuasca has like a soul and it's like a female energy, right? That apparently you pointed out like literally visits you.
Yeah.
Are you standing by this statement?
Yep. While you're in the ceremony. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So like, it's just interesting to me that like, a drug is like a chemical response in your body. But if one like psycho-emotionally isn't prepared to go deep, nothing would occur.
Well, so this isn't a drug. It's a plant.
Excuse me?
Drugs are what we derive from plants. Like,
okay.
Valium is from valerian root.
Okay.
Ayahuasca it's a vine and it's cooked down basically and you're drinking it. It's not processed.
Well, isn't that just like DMT? Like marijuana?
DMT is the drug version of ayahuasca.
Okay.
It's a
derivative. I don't even know what that is.
DMT? It's the derivative, the processed part of ayahuasca that makes you journey. And I guess it lasts like 20 seconds or something, or a minute. But it's,
okay.
As opposed to 3 hours.
Okay.
So because it's like, okay, but right. It's like, well, mushrooms are a drug. If you're using, right. But you're using it ceremonially, I consider it a medicine. I mean, I guess drugs can be medicines.
Yeah.
I mean, antibiotics, I guess. All right. So yeah, sure. It's a drug, but it's used for medicinal properties as opposed to a party. Like somebody once, they're like, I know a guy who can get ayahuasca. Do you want to? And I was like, are you fucking kidding? Like, not a chance. Like, that shit is so powerful. And now I even think about mushrooms differently. Taking any plant medicine on a large scale, not adding the element of, I guess, ceremony feels not correct.
Like disrespectful?
Disrespectful, but also dangerous. Like, because you're...
Could you imagine?
Doing ayahuasca?
I was just going to say, can you imagine, like... No. I was just thinking, like, can you imagine, like, needing a shaman to smoke weed? Not that I do or can smoke weed, but still, people use it, like...
No, but I mean, there are people daily that do, like, shamanic work with weed. It's like they smoke a certain amount or they ingest a certain amount, and then there's a ceremony. Blech.
Nightmare.
Oh, also, by the way,
I hate it so much. It's crazy.
Ayahuasca tastes terrible.
No, that doesn't surprise me. All right, well, we've done it again. We talked about business. We covered MS. We talked about healing. We landed on drugs.
And gratitude.
And gratitude. But you know what?
Are you in a better mood? I'm a huge
proponent of podcast as therapy. Yeah, I'm in a better mood.
Yeah. Great.
It definitely, like, I had just gotten off of that cringe-orama phone call with that lab before we started. So I was in, like, peak
crapola.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's cool. Seems great. Everything's going to work out great.
It's perfect.
That's for sure.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you in Costa Rica.
Signing off.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's weird conversation as much as we did. Be sure to subscribe or follow us wherever you get your podcasts. If you liked today's episode, please consider leaving us a review to help others discover our podcast and join our club.